Call the meeting to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Narodowski.
Present.
Trustee Keenley.
Present.
Trustee May.
Present.
Trustee Perns.
Present.
Supervisor Bussie.
Present. Okay, is there any public comment? State your name and address.
My name is Kevin Allen Ake,
Still can't hear him.
AKE. Oh, my name's Kevin Allen Ake, CPA. I live at 648 Carroll Square. GW stands for Grand West. I live in the kind of the sub-basement, live with the squirrels and the trees and everything. Beautiful place off of Oakton. But I'm here to represent the Elk Grove Historical Society. I've been involved with the Elk Grove Historical Society and the Elk Grove Association for quite some time with Jim Essel, who wrote the wonderful map book. If you've never got a chance to understand the history, then I'm sure Mr. Bussie knows about the maps of Elk Grove Township. Mr. Essel went through and put together a wonderful book. But and I have just been recently appointed to speak, and I wanted to actually present Mr. Bussie with an award tonight. But I ran out of time. I'm sorry, I'm a CPA. Taxes are tough. And I've got a lot of other things besides that. You know, I belong to the VACCC, the Veterans Assistance Commission of Cook County also. So with all my other duties, but on behalf of the, I'm sure of the Elk Grove Historical Society and the Elk Grove Historical Association and the citizens of Elk Grove Township and everybody, we wish to say thank you, Mr. Bussie, for your wonderful service to this wonderful township for all these years, all the countless wonderful things that you have done. And I wish to applaud you. And not only are we're going to name something for your service and honor, which is still yet to be determined yet. I'm still working on those things, and I appreciate it. But we're also going to give you some kind of gift too, and I'm not sure what you really like. And I don't want to give you something that you're not going to use.
I've got a set of elks antlers, so I've got them from the elks over there.
From the elks, okay. Set of antlers, huh?
My great-grandfather gave me one of those, so.
All right. But like I says, we want to thank you very much, and you'll be hearing more from me in the future on some kind of gift we're going to give to you, and then some kind of dedication. And we really, on behalf, I mean, it's amazing. I know, me being recently involved in the Historical Society, to know what assets you have been to this township and this community it's just phenomenal. And thank you again for all the board members also. I know you have stepped out, and this really is truly the exceptional community. And I'm an honor to be part of this wonderful community. And thank you again.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. And our new supervisor, John Scaletta, I'm sure is going to be willing to work with the Historical Society in any way that would be appropriate as moving forward. So, okay. Any other comments from the public? Okay, if not, consent agenda. Do I get a motion to approve the authorization of payroll bills for town fund, general assistance, road and bridge and sewer?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Also under the consent agenda is my report. You have it. It's the social services, unemployment, the employment center, the food pantry, youth services, adult and family counseling, and the transportation and financial numbers. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. Okay, we need to approve the minutes, the March 24th, 2005 regular board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion, any questions, any corrections, anything need to address? If not, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski,
Aye.
Trustee Keenley,
Aye.
Trustee May,
Aye.
Trustee Perns,
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. All right, also the minutes from the public hearing, March 24th, 2025. You have those as well, too. We need to approve that. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
That's moved and seconded. Any questions, corrections, anything associated with the public hearing? No? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski,
Aye.
Trustee Keenley,
Aye.
Trustee May,
Aye.
Trustee Perns,
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. All right, now we'll go to presentations. So I want to take this opportunity at our last meeting together to recognize the board. I think it's always hard to find a way to adequately thank someone, to acknowledge all the hard work and effort they put into their positions, just to generally even say goodbye. We often fall back on really simple, general messages because we're not sure what to say or not to say. So instead of rambling on, I'm going to say short and sweet. First of all, working with you guys has been a total pleasure. I've always really looked forward to the meetings and to the conventions and conferences and events we went together. You guys became friends, not just colleagues, and that was really important to me and made this job so much more enjoyable. I think that we've accomplished so much together over these last 4 years. I mean, it's phenomenal what we've done in terms of getting the facility completed, being able to really look at and dig into what the needs of this community were and are, rather than just saying same old, but we really took a much broader look, dug deeper, and then identified programs that either needed to be expanded or programs that needed to be initiated, and in some cases even programs that need to be done away with, such as the road and bridge. And we went through this whole process, and I think came up with a program and a township which really stands head and shoulders over most. I mean, we're certainly being looked at more and more as a leading township in terms of services that we provide, from taxpayer to social services to the youth and the adult family counseling across the board. And the only one is Hanover, and they're a city of themselves. They don't even count as a township, I don't think, anymore. But I think we've just done a phenomenal job where we've taken this township in just 4 years, in 4 quick years. So I just can't tell you that how grateful I am of the support and the camaraderie that you all have provided. And I just really, for me, this has been 4 years where I think we've been able to work together so well, we've been able to accomplish so much, and I think we're leaving, and I say we, that's us, are leaving the township in a much better place and in a much better way to support and take care of our neighbors. So thank you very much. All right, I've got a little bit something for each of you, and I'll have you come up by, I'm going to say just something short. I'm not going to drag it on and on, but say something short for each of you guys, and we have a plaque for you and then a picture that I'd like to give you. Do you want to just come up and stay then? Okay. So first, come up and stand, David. So David. David, Connie told me for I don't know how many decades, that maybe centuries, that I should be getting David Perns on the board. And I first said, who the hell is David Perns? You know? I didn't know who David Perns was. Well, then I got to know him, and we asked him to join the board. It's about almost 2 years exactly from now, from this date. And David's been a fantastic addition to the board. He has really taken a real interest and an involvement in the township in terms of the educational processes, in terms of the events, in terms of just embracing and and really embracing what we are, who we are, and our mission. And I really appreciate it. I wish that there was more time for you to kind of build your knowledge base and to get even more involved, but you've been, in just 2 short years, have been a great addition. And I really appreciate it, too, when we went down to the conference, that I thought I was going to drive down by myself, but he switched his schedule around so somebody could drive with me, and we had a great time. It was, I really enjoyed the time we spent together, and it was an educational conference, too. We learned a lot down there, so. It was. But I think that's been fantastic, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
We do that afterwards, or? Okay, the picture?
Yeah, Mandy got it. Yep.
Oh, okay, good. No, I mean, for the pictures, we do that now, or after?
We can do them all at the same time.
All right, Brian. So Brian May is a neighbor of mine. Actually, has moved there just shortly after shortly before I asked you to join the board. We had a vacancy a little over 2 years ago, and I was trying to think I need to find somebody that could really be in a quick addition, sharp, really has a presence, would really be a great addition to the board. And I didn't find him, but then, I don't know.
He stumbled upon me.
Yeah, I stumbled
late
upon-
night in the neighborhood.
But Brian, I had seen, Brian was on the District 57 board, and I really had always found his leadership on the board to be very strong, very reasoned, very common sense. But he presented it all in a very polite and civil fashion. And I thought that, when he didn't run again, that this would be a great opportunity for us to bring someone with experience and with an ability, I think, to work in a government environment very, very effectively. So we asked Brian to come on board. Like with David, unfortunately, he's only had a couple short years to really kind of get into things and get involved and learn and be able to contribute. I think that both of these guys, I think both of you, if we'd had a little more time, would have been even more effective in terms of what we've done. But your first 2 years on here was very, very helpful for the board. Was very, once again, we had 4 years, but in 2 years we did a hell of a lot too. So I really appreciate the support that you guys gave us and the support that you brought to the knowledge, common sense you guys brought to the board. And I want to thank you for everything. Thank you, Brian. All right, Dick. So Dick, he goes back, you go back to 2018, I think there?
Yeah.
7, 8 years? Yeah. So Dick is like Brian is another Navy guy. There's 3 of us Navy guys on the board. That's why we were such a good board. But Dick has been on the board going back now 7, 8 years. Came in under when Mike Sweeney was supervisor. In fact, I was the vote that put you in
You
the
were,
seat. That was me.
And you had to struggle with it a little bit.
I did. I had to think about it a long time, just like Brian. I wasn't sure. But Dick has is one of these guys that's quiet, doesn't say a lot, but when he talks, you listen. He's very thoughtful, very very careful and reasoned when he makes decisions or decides to step forward. And so for me, he was the one that I would kind of, when he said something, I'd pay a little extra attention. And also too, if I had an issue where I needed to talk to someone, other than Sue Ellen, I usually talk to a lot, but the Dick would be the one that I know that I could always get a pretty good straight answer from, an idea in terms of what I should do or shouldn't do. Dick has been a fantastic, solid, steady presence on the board. I think that every board needs to have a member like Dick, who's basically is the rock of the board, is the one that you know is there, you know is solid, you know is going to be able to provide the advice and the support and knowledge that you need. And Dick, I've really appreciated everything.
Thanks, George.
See? Dale? So Dale goes back to 2013, I think, isn't it?
Yes, it
Yeah, that's it. So that's 12 years. So Dale's been, as our senior member on the board. He goes back to the beginning of time. Was Dick called it? No, it was Nancy was,
Nancy was right after she retired.
right after Nancy retires, okay. And so Dale's been through everything that we started with back in the old Township Hall, when we had the adult and family counseling over over by 83 and 83 and golf, 83 and golf, it's torn down, that just got torn down. And then we still had the daycare center over there in Elk Grove. And then we had our building with the bike safety and everything out there. We had this little tiny food pantry, and everybody crammed up, for all the administrative staff crammed them up front there in the front office. And but we operated pretty well. We did a pretty good job together. And I remember the great discussions we did with Andrea and Mike and you and I, and that was some good times. But Dale has been with us for a long time. I find that Dale, you can always depend on him. He's going to be on time. He's going to be at the meetings. He's going to be at all the events. He was there for all the parades. And also, I also found that if anybody kind of caught something in the minutes or something like that, or like the resolution, something like that, it would kind of be Dale. He'd be the one to find it out at the last minute all the time. And we'd have to fix everything then. But Dale has been a great member of the board, and his brother was the road commissioner for a number of years. So we had the tandem. But Dale stayed. Art moved on when we got rid of the road and bridge. But thank you very much, Dale. You've been a fantastic addition to the board, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. Let me pass these. Pardon? Everybody come out up front here. All of you, even you two.
Bring our pledge.
No, you leave the flag there.
We have new ones.
Everybody light up in front here. I'd say my age. Oh, that's right. Oh. Okay, what we did is I asked for, wanted to have something from myself and the staff, something that more specifically relates to the township. Flags are nice, but I always kind of like something that really reflects directly what we've been in, where we've been, where we've worked, what we've done. So I've got for each of you a picture. It's of our township hall. Your dedication and service will have a lasting impact from myself and from the staff. And I think what's important here is this is a building that you all helped build. Your involvement, your participation, not only physically helped build this building, but also filled it out. You're the ones that helped make sure that we had a fantastic professional staff that really was the heartbeat of our organization. You're the ones that make sure that they were properly funded and properly were able to do their jobs to the best of their ability. And you're the ones that made this place unique and special. And as I've said, I think the supervisors meetings that the last couple ones I was at, they're turning more and more to us and asking us what we're doing, how we're doing, what have we done in this regard. We're becoming now the standard by which people judge themselves. And that is because of what you all have done. And I think that you really have to be proud of yourself in that regard, and I think you have to be proud of our township and our staff for that reason. My handwriting. My wife said, no, you gotta have somebody else do it.
Or you should get in the middle.
All right.
Get right in the middle.
In the middle? Right.
Yeah. All right. Ready? Get closer, Brian. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
What?
Yeah, you can
What?
stay. You can stay.
Stay here?
Yes.
I know you're worried because I'm behind
That's
you.
right, because you're going to talk.
Yeah, that's always,
I didn't think, I thought I was just supposed to say a few things. Now I realize there's something else here. Huh?
yes, there is. Obviously, legacy of leadership. Goes without saying. Congratulations. Resolution number, excuse me, resolution number 2025-09, a resolution recognizing George Bussey for his dedicated service to Elk Grove Township. Whereas George Bussey, a lifelong resident of Elk Grove Township, proudly carries forward a family tradition of public service in county, township, and village government that dates back to 1848. And whereas George's great-grandfather, John Rowling, notably served as Elk Grove Township Supervisor in the early 1900s, instilling in George a lasting commitment to community leadership. And whereas George Bussey has devoted a combined 25 years to Elk Grove Township, serving 15 years as trustee, 6 years as township clerk, and the past 4 years as township supervisor, providing steadfast leadership and unwavering dedication. Whereas, through his tenure as supervisor, George Bussey guided the township through a period of remarkable growth and service expansion, including increasing staff to address the 400% surge in food pantry utilization and the 225% increase in social services applications. Expanding access to mental health support by hiring additional therapists and partnering with the Joslin Center for Psychiatric Services. Launching a transportation dispatching system to assist seniors and individuals with disabilities. Leading the construction of a bicycle safety and challenge course to support youth development and initiatives. Expanding and structuring youth services programming to include quantitative data and feedback. Enhancing outreach efforts through holiday assistance programs for families facing financial hardship. Increasing and expanding outreach efforts by bringing a community service day and mobile DMV to the township. Expanding employment service support services by launching an in-transit job board for local employment opportunities through the township's new website. Providing accessible online and telephone counseling during COVID-19, continuing teletherapy services due to community demand. And whereas, under George's leadership, senior services were expanded with the hiring of a senior benefits specialist to support the Senior Health Insurance Program, SHIP, and additional wellness initiatives. And whereas, George's innovative efforts were recognized with the 2024 Supervisor of the Year, for social services, honoring his exceptional contributions to social and mental health programming in Elk Grove Township. And whereas George Bussey led with a heart of gold, consistently approaching his role with compassion, humility, and approachability, taking the time to personally connect with staff and residents alike, and tirelessly working to enhance services in the area where they were most needed. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Supervisor and the Board of Trustees of Elk Grove Township, Counties of Cook and DuPage, Illinois, that George Bussey be commended and sincerely thanked for his outstanding leadership, dedication, and lasting impact in the township. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to George Bussey in grateful recognition of his many years of service and the positive legacy he leaves behind, passed and approved this 28th day of April, 2025. Sue Ellen Saturn, Clerk of Elk Grove Township.
We'll turn this around here. My wife should be here. She wouldn't know who this person was. She thinks we're having donuts all the time in the staff lounge. I don't think she knows that we're actually doing some work here. But I had promised my wife, after 30 years traveling with the Navy and 30 years traveling with my company, William Blair, internationally, and then 24 years here, and then all the charitable boards and the bank boards and all the village boards that I was on, that, okay, after actually I told her 2 years, but I lied. I stayed. I was going to step down after 2 years just to help get things started, but I lied. I stayed 4 years. But my time was up at 4. I wasn't going any further after 4 years. But I think that now it's time, and I feel it's appropriate that we focus on the family and focus on grandkids and traveling, seeing the kids. But I also would say that, the things that I remember sitting down with Mike Sweeney and with Greg O'Brien, for those of you old timers, Greg O'Brien was the clerk before me. And we sat down one time and laid out a sort of a vision, a strategy, where we'd like to see the township go in 10 years. And it was a pretty comprehensive look in terms of both what we felt that we should be focused on, programs that need to support that, staff needed for that, and those goals and those things sort of carried through with Mike and then through to me. And I would say that we're at a point now where actually I feel we basically accomplished everything we had on that sheet. I mean, there was one thing, and I can't remember what it is now, though, that had not been completed, but we had walked through the whole thing and had basically achieved those things that we wanted to achieve. So I'm leaving here not feeling like, oh, I left a lot of stuff left to do. Rather, I feel I'm leaving now at a time now when I have a foundation left for the next supervisor and his board to now take the next step forward in terms of vision and in terms of where to take the township from this point forward. And it's not bad to at some point to bring in new ideas, new people, because after a while your vision and your ideas, as they kind of get into place or so, well, then there needs to be that next step. And I hope John can do it, but I think he can. I bet on him, but anyway, so it's I feel this is a good time for me to step down, but it's bittersweet, and it's always bittersweet because anytime you've been involved with an organization as long as I've been here, and I've been able to work with all of you, it gets hard because it's not just any organization. It's an organization that really is focused on services for those most in need, for people that have been forgotten and in often many cases have nowhere else to go. And I've seen numerous times I think numerous times in my life I've been involved in different programs and different jobs and different things. But the two things in my life that have really stood out that made a difference, and I've said this before, is my 30 years as officer in the Navy and my 24 years, in particular the last 4 here in the township. And the reason for that is, I believe, is because the Navy and the township, I felt I had a real purpose. There was something that I was really focused on that I was accomplishing and I was doing. I mean, I liked my job, took care of my family financially, I think, but it was a job. Here at the township and the Navy, I felt like there was a real purpose. On one hand, it was defending my country, it was protecting freedom, it was a higher calling. Then at the other end, at this side in the township, it was actually a purpose of being able to care for and meet the needs of our neighbors, people who are trying to keep themselves in their homes, trying to take care of feed their families, trying to keep their families together, people that are struggling with their taxes, people that are struggling with mental health, a variety of different things, that the purpose here was on an individual basis, while the purpose in my other career in the Navy was more on a higher, more how would you say, philosophical type basis. And so, but both of those had a real value and a real meaning to me. And for that reason, that's what I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss that purpose that I feel this job really brought to me. And then I'm going to miss, along with it, the elected officials and the staff that I had the pleasure and the honor of being able to work with all these years. Because you can have, I can feel like I have a purpose, and it's great to feel like you have a purpose, but to get it done, you need people to work with. You need people that are going to work with you, going to work for you, are going to accomplish the things that you put forward. And and I'm just sort of pointing these last 4 years, you all, the staff, have been phenomenal. In terms of their ability to develop your departments, to develop the programs, and to meet the needs, and to do it in such an effective fashion, and to do it as a team. To me, this is something that any supervisor, anybody running an organization is so proud to see, because it's not what I accomplish, it's what you accomplish, because what you accomplish reflects that reflects on me, but that really was what makes the difference in the community. Not so much me, but what you do. And the same thing with the board is that, sure, I'm one vote, but I had needed 4 other guys on there that would go along and would support the programs and ideas we put forward. And they were always there. They were always supportive. Yeah, they raised questions every so often, and I did listen to them. But they were extraordinarily supportive in their regard. So I had a board, I had colleagues, and I had a staff that made it very, very easy and very, and I think very easy for me to be able to accomplish these things that I kind of saw, and that we developed together and we put forward. So, like my wife always says, what you can say in 2 sentences, I say in 5 pages. But in any case, the bottom line on this is that I think that it's been. I think not everybody gets the opportunity to serve like I have, and not everyone gets to have the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives, either directly or indirectly. And it's a unique opportunity of which I am tremendously grateful. And to have been able to do it with such caring professional staff and with such motivated, selfish elected officials, I think was truly a blessing and something I'll always be very thankful for. So thank you very much. All right, let me go on to the real stuff. Okay, so next, that's the presentations. Do we have to make a motion to approve the presentations? No. Okay. We move to reports. We have the assessor's report.
Yes, we just went through a very busy time. The county finally got out the applications for exemptions, but that really started our busiest and most stressful time of the year, and that's that part of that 3-year property tax cycle with the reassessment. We will open for Cook County Assessor Appeals May 7th. We will be open for 42 days. Yes, it's sort of an alert for the staff that the phones are going to be ringing and the front door is going to be open all the time. Our taxpayers who have signed up for notifications will receive emails and phone calls to alert them to how they will appeal. An outreach program has been scheduled with the county for May 12th. Here in the Township Hall at 6 p.m., staff will be available to set appointments with our appellants and assist with questions. Staff and I will be on a conference call with the county on May 5th. This will be a Team/Zoom type meeting where the county is going to try and give us an overview of what the reassessment's going to be like for Elk Grove Township. I'm looking at that point to see what average increases. We were hit very hard 3 years ago on the land side of the property tax. I'm making the assumption right now that they're going to hit improvements rather hard this time around. I attended the April meeting of the Cook County Township Assessors Association on the 25th. Much information was given by the county regarding deadlines, which already passed for applications for exemptions, and how they would like certificates of error to be filed from that point on. I will be meeting with the assessors of Barrington, Palatine, and Wheeling on Wednesday to discuss additional ways that we can assist and educate our taxpayers in joint efforts to increase awareness of programs that are available to them. And when I talk about increased activity, in April, we had 1,081 walk-ins. We had 752 phone calls. We filed 826 senior freeze exemptions, 89 senior exemptions, 61 homeowner exemption, 19 disabled event exemptions, 21 veterans, and 107 certificates of error. Also, we filed 2 World War II veterans. This is a new exemption that is near and dear to my heart. A surviving World War II veteran or his surviving staff will pay no property taxes. And for their service, amazing. Anyway, because we will be open on the 7th of May, we obviously are going to be fully staffed, and I've brought in our part-timer that works remotely to particularly handle email requests. However, I'm meeting Wednesday morning with a representative of District 214 to discuss the possibility of an internship for someone to answer the phone and take information so that we can be even more efficient. Good news there is no cost to that.
Is that
So-
a paid internship or a?
No, this is free. If we choose to keep them on, then there is, an implied salary, but
You will do some other education things with them?
we will be, yes. Yeah, it really is a quid pro quo from the standpoint that we'll be talking to them about, obviously, property taxes, government in general. It certainly is going to give them an interesting education on how to handle an angry taxpayer. So from that standpoint, yeah, there's going to be a lot of lessons learned there. But this is something that I hope to get into, at the start of our, but it remains to be seen. This is something I'll be discussing with 214 on Wednesday.
Okay, great.
And since it is the last board meeting for some of you, thank you.
I think the internship program is very, very good. I think if we could work out something with the District 214 where they provide assistance to the office, but we also then have a program for educating them in terms of what the assessor's office does, how property taxes work, how that works, that would be an interesting 2-3 week or so internship. Would be
Correct.
very good. I think the more we can involve the youth, not just through our government days, but also through internships and volunteer services, the better, because so many of our youth are totally unaware of what local government is, or for that matter, what government is in a lot of ways. And I think that to have a strong society, you need people that know about the Constitution, that know about what their government is, and they know what people are doing or not doing. What did Ben Franklin says? We're a democracy if we can keep it. Well, the only way we keep it if we stay involved, and all of you are involved. We need more people involved in this small room. Okay, clerk's report.
I had one FOIA request from an environmental company asking about infrastructure that the township had at the Oasis mobile home, and Administrator Manzo got back to them. And Administrator Manzo filed the new budgets with the county. We're set on that. And then, without getting teary-eyed, oh my gosh, best board I've worked with since George and I were together with Andrea and Greg. But since then, it's been awesome. I'm really going to miss you guys, so please come back and bug us.
Okay, we'll go then to Supervisor's report. First of all, in terms of events, we had the Easter egg hunt here, what, a week and a half ago, or whatever it was, I think yeah. And I want to commend the staff for doing, and Mandy for doing such a fantastic job on that. I had a huge turnout. I had no idea there'd be that many kids. I felt sorry for the ones that came a little late, because the kids they broke them up into, what, under 2? 3 to 6, and then the others. And when they opened the gate, I mean, it was like a lawnmower went through. It just sucked up all the eggs. And a couple families came a little later, and I said, "Oh, where do we go?" And I said, it's home. Go home. Yeah, no, but it was. And what I like about this too is that it was a really innovative way of using a facility that we have for another purpose. And the more we can innovate, and the more we can utilize assets that we already have in other ways that benefit the community, I think is a real reward for the taxpayer and for the taxpayers' dollars. Or even find efficiencies, like the Baylor was another example of, I thought, was a very innovative approach that the staff took and proposed. And I claimed it was my idea, but it was really theirs after. But they did it. I mean, those are the type of things that I think, those little things make big differences in terms of our impact in the community and in terms of our ability to manage our finances in a way that's efficient for the taxpayer. We have a shredding event coming up on the 3rd. Is it here with the Elk Grove Lions Club? So it'll be here with the Elk Grove Lions Club, and our staff, we come around the back. And in the fall, we do one with the Mount Prospect Lions Club over at Rexplex. We continue to do this. We have a reasonable turnout. It's not huge, but what we find is that usually you've got to be 50 years or older to still have documents that you're throwing out. You don't see any people their age showing up anymore. Me, I got 5 or 6 boxes of this stuff. But we have the shredding events with the Lions, and the 3rd, so you're invited to attend for a little while and help pick the boxes and throw them out. We also then, those are the events. I had the Easter egg, now we have the shredding. I think a couple other things coming up is, one is the food lockers.
They are in and operational. They are just waiting to be wrapped. Should be by the end of next week.
Okay, so then by the time I get back from my daughter's wedding, and everyone will be invited to participate in our food lockers, which I've gotten numerous requests from other supervisors in terms of other townships and what we're doing, how that works. So it's innovation again. So, and that was once again a staff recommendation that I think the one thing you learn when you listen to the staff, you learn a lot. So I think that's great. I'm really looking forward to the food lockers moving forward. Going forward in the future from construction point of view, it's the fence, this coming year fence, where they redo the floor in the youth room or the community room, because when you walk across it, your footprints show up everywhere. They're going to redo that, and the front office. So otherwise, we're pretty well done with all the construction. This board has completed most of that. There's only a few odds and ends still that need to be addressed. One other thing is, just so you know, for the food pantry, we're going to be initiating the runs to the manufactured homes. And when are we, next month?
Right, so you will have a item on your agenda about a new bus driver, and we can cover that then. But once we have a new driver on staff and ready to go, trained, we will start those. One thing I don't want you to miss is May 10th, we have the CCC Pack the Pantry. It's an event that they put on and they collect right outside of Jewel on Beesterfield Road. They're there from 9 to 1. And then it also is the day for Stamp Out Hunger. So it just happens to be the same day, but the local mail carriers group will collect Stamp Out Hunger. You put bags of food in front of your home, and they do that as they're collecting the mail. And then we get all of those proceeds. So it is a huge day for us. We will probably bring in thousands of pounds of donations on May 10th.
Okay, great. So that events-wise is the shredding, and then this on the 3rd, and then this on the 10th of the events that are coming up. Also, one other one that you'll be invited to attend is the Community Empowerment Fund fundraiser, which will be on the 29th of May. We are doing that, is it 34th?
It's the 29th?
29th?
Me.
May,
Yes.
yeah, 29th of May.
Yeah, May,
right?
yeah, May 29th.
What did I say?
I don't know.
You said May 29th.
You did.
I think you said that.
Okay, all right. Is it 34th? Are we doing it again?
No, remember, we rented this hall.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
it's here, okay.
Oh, okay, we'll do it here. Okay, good. So it's 29th, once again, the Community Empowerment Fund, as you all know, is the 501c3 that's separate from the township, but is connected to the township, that provides the additional funds for things that our social services department can't legally do. We can supplement that with funds from the CEF, pest control, things like that, buying a water heater. And then I think that is the, let's see, Easter egg hunt, shredding, Community Empowerment Fund, the Foot Lockers. Will everyone know when we're going to do that grand opening? And, yeah, the buses, we're looking at adding the bus route to the manufactured homes because people have trouble getting here. They have more of an issue with transportation out of the manufactured homes. So we're set up a day with shuttle runs as we do at some point. Let's see, is there any other, I don't think there's anything else, any questions for me in that regard? Okay, do I need a motion to approve the elected officials' monthly reports?
So moved.
Second.
Once again, any questions to any of the elected officials? If not, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski,
Aye.
Trustee Keenley,
Aye.
Trustee May,
Aye.
Trustee Perns,
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. All right, there's no correspondence, there's no old business. Under the new business, the first item is the approval of a new bus driver. Izzy, do you want to talk a little bit about the need for a new bus driver is?
Sure. So, as many of you already know, Kevin O'Brien, he's retiring at the end of the month, in May. And we have already hired his replacement. His name is Chris. He's fully trained and out on the road every single day doing a great job. As we launched EcoLane, we realized that we have a huge demand. You'll see on your current monthly report, we are taking in like over 800 reservations a month, completing almost all of those trips. Cancellations are only due to riders calling in sick or saying that their appointments are rescheduled, things like that. In order to be able to do some of these additional runs, such as the manufactured homes, or continue to increase ridership for our seniors, as you know, we have plenty of senior centers, a couple of different hospitals, 2 big ones actually in our jurisdiction. We're continuously growing. Our senior population is also growing, and in order to be able to get people to where they need to go on time in a very effective manner, we do need additional staff member. That person will be out on the road at all times, and Ellen, who is our transportation field coordinator at this time, will assist in some front office dispatching. It turns out that as we take in reservations, you can imagine 800 of them, they're very detail-oriented. We want to make sure we know exactly where we're going, what time, and that takes a lot of time from Mariana, who is our scheduler. So she needs a little bit of assistance in that front office. Ellen will work, our transportation field coordinator will work both a hybrid shift. She'll dispatch as well as drive, and then we will have 3 drivers out on the road at all times. It'll basically work as it is working right now, which is very efficient and very effective. We don't have to cancel anyone, and we are good to go even if somebody calls in sick, as in one of our drivers, or even if one of the front office staff calls in sick, we can still cover that shift. If Kevin retires and we're down to 3 drivers and 1 in-office staff, it would put a strain on our department. So we're just looking to fill that gap and make sure we can continue to provide the same service that we are now.
So What this, by adding a driver would do is it'd give us additional backup. It would allow us to more effectively use the, by adjusting some of the roles, more effectively use the software, the Ecoland, and also at the same token would also allow us to expand our services a little bit like the runs to the manufactured home facilities. So I guess I'd like to see, get a motion that would approve the hiring of an additional bus driver.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? I think Izzy did a good job explaining the rationale behind it, and we've gone through the budget, financials, and it is very workable for us. So, if no other questions, I have a roll call.
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. Okay, then we have a notice of invitation to bid. We need to approve a bid process for the sanitary smoke test. This is an IDOT requirement that we have to do a section of our sewers every so many years.
Sure. It's a requirement from the WMRD, and it's a big section of our sewers, about 6,000 linear feet. It's just a notice to bid, so we'll be collecting bids for the next month, opening them up on June 3rd at 2 p.m., and then the board will vote to choose the lowest responsible bidder at that time.
So this is an approval of putting out the bid for the smoke testing process. Like I said, this is IDOT requirement, and it's directed for a specific section of the sewers. I will encourage the next supervisor, once the sewers are fully sleeved and they're up to code, that you work with the villages in transferring our non-core competency sewers to the villages. So noted, right? So noted. Okay, so I need a motion to approve issuing bids, which will open on June 3rd.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? No. If not, need a roll call?
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Okay, the next item is approval of Elk Grove Township's continuing partnership with CETA, the Community and Economic Development Association, Cook County, as a energy utility bill assistance programs and home weatherization partner. This is a contract. We'd be approving a continuation, actually, of the contract that would renew on June 30th. This authorizes us to be a LIHEAP site and a NICOR sharing site, and anything else?
Weatherization.
The weatherization. So basically, we're seeking the approval of our continued contract with CETA to be able to provide these particular services to our community. Can I get a motion to approve it?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. All right, item number 4, Resolution 2025-07, resolution approving and authorizing the sale of certain real property and to grant a temporary construction easement to Elk Grove Village. Last meeting, we declared a small strip of property out in front on the west side, southwest side of the building. We designated a surplus that would allow Elk Grove Village to purchase it from us and to use it in connection with some redevelopment and redoing of the intersection in front of us here. And so we had declared it surplus. Now we're just approving a resolution, actually approving the sale of the property to Elk Grove Village. Got the information there. We've talked about it last week. Is there a motion to approve the sale?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions on this? Izzy's been spending a ton of time with us. She can certainly explain that if you need any further information. Okay, if not, we get a roll call?
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. Okay, Resolution 2025-08, IMRF Form 6.64, participation by elected officials. This is every 2 years or so, it is requested of us to approve participation in IMRF by members elected by elected officials. Historically, the trustees never were part of the IRMF system because we're a 600-hour township, which means to participate in this, you need to be putting in 600 hours a year. The trustees would not at that point. About 8 years ago, when I became clerk, I took the clerk out of the IRMRF because I was not putting in, I felt, 600 hours as well, too. At that same time, Mike Sweeney took the supervisor out. He was doing over 600 hours, but Mike was Mike, and he just decided that, you know, we shouldn't be involved with IRMRF. So the supervisor, the clerk, and the trustees were not involved. Trustees were never involved. The clerk and the supervisor withdrew from IRMRF. The Road and Bridge Commissioner and the Assessor indicated they were doing 600 hours and they stayed in IRMRF. We don't have a Road and Bridge Commissioner anymore, so it's just the Assessor that we would be approving to be able to participate in the program. It is an honor code system. Our assessor, if they got audited, would have to just prove that she's putting the 600 hours. And so it's on our part, Connie has indicated she wishes to continue. So my feeling is that we approve this resolution as it states, allowing the assessor to participate in IRMRF. So do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-08 IRMF Form 6.4, participation by elected officials?
So move. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Any further clarification needed? No? Okay. Roll call?
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Okay, the last one, you do this. All right, so Resolution 2025-09, recognition of outstanding leadership. If the board votes this down, I guess I have to return this to
Hope we get a
I'm
motion.
not going to ask for any discussion. So is there a motion to approve?
So
Is
moved.
there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's no discussion.
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Abstain.
All right.
Okay, any discussion, well, we can do this when we get back. I'm going to, at this point, make a motion for us to move into closed session under 5 ILCS 120/2C21 for the review of closed session minutes eligible for approval and release. I need a motion to approve.
I need a second.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
You need a roll call, yeah. Roll call,
Yeah. May
Roll call.
Perns, sorry.
yes, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. All right, so we will adjourn for the closed session. This should only take.
Yeah, it won't take long.
All right, so I call the meeting back to order. Roll call?
Trustee Narodowski.
Present.
Trustee Keenley.
Present.
Trustee May.
Present.
Trustee Perns.
Present.
Supervisor Bussie.
Present. Okay, so we need a motion to release the executive session minutes of June 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
If not, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the destruction of the tapes for the sessions, for the meetings held on 12/19/22, 5/22/23, 9/5/23, and 10/23/23. All of these meetings are 18 months, are over 18 months old, and the meeting minutes have been released. So they meet the qualifications for destruction. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, has been moved and seconded. Any questions or any discussion? Not, roll call?
Trustee Narodowski.
Aye.
Trustee Keenley.
Aye.
Trustee May.
Aye.
Trustee Perns.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. All right, that finishes our agenda. There's now, if there's any discussion or comments from trustees, the board? Okay, all I'd like to say is kind of at the end here, it's our last meeting, that I think at the end of the day, it's not kind of what you have or what you've accomplished. It's about who you've lifted up, who you've made better. It's about kind of what you've given back. I want to thank the board for everything you've done, for all you've given in terms of time and effort and resources. You're leaving behind a better community. And I wish the new supervisor and the new board all the best as you chart a new course for the township. You've got an outstanding staff. You've got a great administrator. Listen to them, support them, recognize them when they outperform, which is very often. And I think you'll find you're only as good as your team. And I think you're starting out with a very outstanding team. So good luck, John. So, all right. Make a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All right, moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Done.